You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
About the future of that QB room. And we've talked a lot about, hey, even if the time's not now, we're excited about the Will Hammond era. But when you think about Lloyd Jones, you think about possible additions beyond that. You think about Stephen Cannon. You think about exciting names like Kavion Bryant. This is not unique to a Texas Tech program, obviously. I mean, everybody's got to navigate this, but I was kind of curious to maybe get your thoughts on how you could see this sort of being navigated. And I'm also curious about the Baron Morton to Will Hammond angle when it comes to mobility. Is it a given that we're going to be, plunging into a much more dual threat or mobile style quarterback moving forward? Two-part question there.
I don't worry about a log jam. This is what you take one a year. This is what the good programs deal with. I think this is just kind of part of the way it works, because it's funny because Stephen Cannon is committed to you, hasn't even signed yet, and everybody's already moved on to the next guy in line, which is Kavion Bryant, right? Like Stephen Cannon is like, man, I can't even get my time to shine. Like I'm not even here yet. Y'all have already moved on to the next dude, right? Yeah. And it's funny too, because and along those lines, Chubb, Lloyd Jones, his nickname is Chubb. I mean, this is a very talented player. This is a 6'3", 6'4" dual threat that had, I was looking at it to make sure. He had basically 1,700 rushing yards in his high school career, and Will Hammond had over 1,000 yards his senior season. So you are probably like, you've always wanted at the minimum, like, do we consider Pat Mahomes a dual threat? No, I don't. However, I think that he's, at the minimum, that's what they must be able to do, is be an extend the play guy, like an athletic, like I've got to be able to move around. I'm not just your prototypical drop back, sit in the pocket. That's passe, if you will. Mm-hmm. That just won't work in this. Or if you have that, you're going to have a complement, and you're going to have a red zone guy. You're going to have a short yardage guy. You're going to have to do some different things with your scheme to kind of make the defense have to prepare for and deal with a lot of different things. But it's funny because Barron is he's not a dual threat per se, but he's very athletic. I mean, he was an all-state athlete in 5 sports in high school. I mean, he'd do everything. But it's different. Like Hammond's lower half is definitely different than Barron. There's just no doubt about that. Lloyd Jones is the same. Kavion Bryant is definitely different from that standpoint. Stephen Cannon is more of like a Barron in that he can extend a play. He can run it, but that's not like what you're going to like lean on. So I don't know if I can say to you that without fail, like this is the prototype. They will never waver from it, because it's some of both. I mean, I think Cannon and Barron are similar, but then, Will and Chubb and Bryant are, but Bryant may be more, if you get him, he's not committed yet. I think you're working on it. If you get him, he may be more legs than he is arm. And that may be like, it may be tilted more to that's, you see what I mean? So.
First, today's episode brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar, the coffee shop, or the corner store that's been serving your neighborhood for decades. These are the kind of places that bring people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world, including some local favorites in the 806 like Shadow Hills Golf Course, The Outdoor Chef, Quarter Ford, Lubbock Welding Supply, Sugar Bakers, and a whole lot more. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more today. But before you do, go support your favorite local spot. Powered by Square. See you in the neighborhood. Yeah, there's like a scale of dual threat.
Yes.
I was thinking that when you brought up Patrick Mahomes, because I would say he is, to me, if I had a gun in my head, dual threat. And I wouldn't say Baron Morton is. So there's like, And then there's Drew Bledsoe on the far end of it. So there's like this huge scale of, it's kind of like you were talking about maybe with Devin Dampier in the sense of, are you scrambling to run, scrambling to throw kind of thing?
There's two different kinds of guys. See, so that's why I view Pat is like Barron in that they're scramble to throw guys. I mean, yes, they can tuck it and go, and they have. We've seen this. I think Cannon is a scramble to throw guy. Some of the other ones may be more. Yeah, I'm gonna if everybody's back is turned to me, I'm gonna scramble. I'm out. I'm out the gate. So I don't know.
Chris, I used to feel like a dual threat quarterback, a true dual threat quarterback, on the college level was almost like a cheat code because the defensive speed was not where it needed to be in the way that it was in the NFL to really combat that. That was when I think the dual threats were fewer and further between, maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. Am I wrong in that? Has the speed changed? Has the nature of the speed defensively changed, or the nature of a dual threat quarterback? Just feels like it's a little more widespread now and not quite as much of a, I guess, a cheat code or an advantage over just any random defense on a Saturday.
Well, but it still is in that you talk in football. You know, we talked about this before a little bit, but it's all about like gaps. Okay, defensively. You're responsible for this one, and everybody's assigned kind of to, but like anytime the quarterback runs it, there's a gap that's not accounted for, and that's what it just. No matter the scheme, no matter the down and distance on the field, or where you are on the field, that's what causes problems. And there's really no. And then if you say, okay, we're going to spy this guy, well, okay, it's all about. If that's the way you want to do it, but now you've unaccounted for something else somewhere else,
right.
You know, right?
There's only so much math.
That's why the QB run game aspect of it is so fascinating and why so many people are using it. And I get that I don't want to put my guy in harm's way. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's rumors out there with some certain quarterbacks that, you know, their agent or their family doesn't want them to be utilized in the QB run game for fear of being hurt. And
really?
So let's limit that. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I wouldn't think that, but
yeah, because I mean, you know, because so many of these guys can run, and they're like, why are they not running more? Well, maybe it's because, you know, they don't want them to get hurt. I mean, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, coaches can make those decisions. I'm gonna put him in harm's way a few times, but we just can't major in this because he's not going to hold up. At some point, you're going to have a guy get dinged up, and we don't have anything behind him or whatever. So that's kind of always the internal dilemma that you're going on. But I do think that the like QB run game 20 years ago, now it's still a problem regardless of scheme and defense and all that, just because there's just something there that you can't account for, and if you're good enough to exploit it, it's a problem.
Well, and maybe there's more of those guys available as QBs because of the evolution of high school offenses in Texas and elsewhere. I don't know. There may be some that are just better at it now than they were once upon a time.
Because typically coaches put their best, a lot of times they'll just put their best athlete at quarterback, you know. And I mean, like Cam Dickey was a great example. Cam Dickey's not a natural quarterback. Well, guess what? His high school program was not great. So they were like, you know what? Let's let him just take snaps, and if he has to run, okay, so be it.
Let him touch the ball first.
Marcus Ramon Edwards was a high school quarterback too. He's not a natural quarterback, but it's like tackle the man with the ball, and so that's kind of what you get with some of these guys.
Our preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, former QB.
Yes,
pretty good.
That's right.
I gotta say.
Yes.
All right, Chris. Before we get out of here, I did want to switch gears, and as we continue to look ahead, talk more so about the schedule before us.